Let's get started. Let me know. All ready? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today evening. So let's get started with a call to order. And item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Can I request Commissioner Levy to lead us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 3, roll call. Madam Clerk. can
Thank
please do
you.
the-
Chair Mitra,
Present.
Vice Chair Breed,
President.
Commissioner Dorlick,
Present.
Commissioner Keeney, Commissioner Levy,
Present.
Commissioner Lopez Lucy. Present. Commissioner Oslin is absent this evening, and Student Commissioner Chawla. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 4, special item announcements. 4.1, temporary employee of the month for January, Ebony Harrison, presented by Kathy Skiller, administrative coordinator.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm happy to be on this side, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to introduce to you our temporary employee of the month for the month of January, Ebony Harrison. Ebony is a senior at San Francisco State University. Her major is in child and adolescent development with an emphasis on pre-K to 3rd grade. She joined the City of San Ramon as an office assistant last May 2024, and she is amazing. She's an amazing team player and a remarkable asset to our community and aquatic centers. Her customer service skills are excellent, and the department has received many compliments on her behalf. And so here are a few. And I did not say this one, but it would be something that I would say. She is always early to her shift and very friendly. Another one is I appreciate her professionalism and very pleasant attitude, checking in the swimmers even before it's 6 a.m. And at this time of year, it's dark and cold, so that's pretty cool. She has the best customer service I have ever encountered in many, many years. I'm so happy that I talked to her, and I am so grateful to her that she really treated me so well. One of Ebony's standout qualities is that she's always looking to be of assistance, whether it's to customers or to staff. She's very proactive, and she checks in with staff regularly to see if she can assist with special projects. She can be counted on to proofread accurately, and she does not shy away from the tedious tasks. Ebony also did a fantastic job assisting with the SAN Letters project this year, which is very important to all of us. And all letters were received a response from Santa, and Ebony was such a help. Despite her very busy schedule as a part-time student, she is always willing to pick up extra shifts and cover last-minute shift openings due to absences. She's a big asset to the Parks and Community Service Department, and on behalf of the City of San Ramon and Parks and Community Services, I congratulate her on being chosen as the January Temporary Employee of the Month. Anything?
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone and thanks to all the people at Parks and Rec, and a special shout out to Becky and May for always checking in on me and supporting me in everything that I need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get a big cup of coffee and sit down.
Thank you.
And thank you for your, for my Santa Claus letter. Thank you. The parents of we.
I think they
Send
do.
it a letter. Only you would do that. I never know what I want.
World peace and the world.
World peace. Wow. All right. Thank you. Item number 4.2, special announcements. Do we have any special announcements?
Thank you, Chair Mitra. I do have a couple announcements, if I may. We are very happy to announce our beloved Carol Rally has been just awarded the champion of the community at both the state and the local level.
Wow.
Yes, so we're very pleased to have that. It should be recognized at the state level at the conference coming up. And then District 3 will be hosting a lunch. It's an award ceremony and an installation of the new board members. And that will be taking place in Walnut Creek on February 27th. We will send out, Kathy will be sure to get you out all that information if you're interested in joining us. Of course, we'll be more than happy to cover any of the commissioners that would like to attend, as well as Carol and her guest. And we'll have some staff there as well that are part of the meeting. So we're super excited for her to be recognized for all of her years of service for this community, as well as for recently with the foundation. So we're excited about that. And our very own Adam Chow has been elected as the CPRS Presidential Series and will be the president-elect in March for the remainder of that term, which is 25, 26, excuse me, and then will be the president for the term after that. So we're very excited to have him as part of the
Congratulations.
President Series.
Way to
Yeah,
go.
so we, our staff take great pride in being part of CPRS at the district and the state level, and it's exciting to have a future president on our hands. So we're very, very excited about that. I'm sure you all tuned into last night's city council meeting, but just in case you did not, we're very happy to announce that the city council approved the reinstating of the 10 additional operating hours at the San Ramon Library. So that will bring the San Ramon Library back to the 56 hours that we traditionally know here in San Ramon. Doherty will be at 46. So we'll be back to our operating hours that we had in previous years. So we're very excited about that. Staff is still working with county staff in regards to when that will actually take effect. It'll take them probably a couple months to get ramped up and staff on board. Still confirming those details, and we'll be sure to let the community know as soon as we have a better idea when those hours will go into effect. So that will add additional hours to a couple of the weekdays as well as the Monday service hours back online. So we're very happy about that. They also reinstated the janitorial services at the libraries as well. So that's exciting. I'm not sure if you've heard, but the Quail Run cricket pitch has finally been completed out at Quail Run, which we're very excited about. It was completed at the end of January. However, the weather hasn't cooperated with us. Literally the first weekend we were supposed to operate, it was the torrential downpours and the field has yet to dry up enough to get anybody on that field. But we're super excited that the new cricket pitch at Quail Run is ready. And as soon as the sun comes out and cooperates, we'll be sure to get those kids out on that field. So very excited about that, both our community as well as staff. And great job to our public services department who pulled that off with the weather and everything else going on. Just a friendly reminder, the teen council applications are currently live. They close at midnight on February 19th. So that is taking place. And then Kathy has the pleasure of flipping those binders from the 19th to have them ready for you on the 21st. So we hope to have all those binders ready to go for those of you that are reviewing or screening the applicants at that point. So that's kind of an update on that. Handful of events to pay attention to. Of course, I'm sure none of you have forgotten, but Friday is Valentine's Day and the seniors will be celebrating most of all. So there's a Valentine's Day lunch at the El Costa Senior Community Center. So if you want to come by for a great meal and some Valentine's Day love and hugs, come on down to the Senior Center. It will be a great day. We have our Art Foundation has the Friday Foreign Film Series taking place. Their first one was last weekend. They had a sold out crowd. Which is amazing. Their upcoming event is on the 21st, which is the monsoon wedding. On the 28th, they'll be having the Hive, and they close out the series on March 7th, which will be the farewell. Also on March 7th, we have the San Ramon Symphonic Band Spring Concert that will be taking place, and I believe that's at the Doherty Valley Performing Arts Center. So that's on the 8th. That's kind of our upcoming events.
Oh,
And-
one more.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Dorlick.
At the Front Row Theater, the Spark Livermore Shakespeare Festival on the 15th. We'll have a Valentine's Day special, Romeo and Juliet love letters.
Wonderful. Thank you
15th.
very much for that reminder.
Yes.
Appreciate that. And last but not least, and finally, it's that time of the year again where we look for commissioner members to participate in the committee interview process. All three committees have positions that terms expire at this time of the year. So the city clerk's office is accepting applications for those that want to participate on the library advisory committee, the arts advisory committee, and the senior advisory committee. And so we are looking for those commissioners that would like to do those interviews of those candidates. Interviews are scheduled for the March 3rd and 4th in the evening. We might be able to slip the 5th in there, but we do need to go to commission on the 10th of that month. So there's a tight flip on that.
Yep.
And so if any of the commissioners are available on those days, we can work with you offline in regards to actual schedules. But if you could just let us know if you are interested in any of those committees, or you can let us know offline, whatever
Can do the
works.
3rd and 4th, not the 5th.
Okay, perfect.
Give me 1 second.
I'd have to look.
I can do all three if necessary.
Wonderful.
You said, what are the dates again?
The 3rd and 4th would be ideal, but if we absolutely need to, we can do the 5th. And we
You're
can
talking
do
about
them
March,
at
right?
multiple times. Wonderful. Thank
You're
you very
talking
much.
March, right?
March,
March.
yes, first week in March. Thank
And
you.
what is third? What is, what is the
3rd and
timing?
4th, I believe that's a Monday and
Monday,
a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday, and what is the timing we're thinking?
It'll be in the evening. It'll be late afternoon, evening. It really depends on the commissioners. If the commissioners are available at 4, we can schedule them then. Some of these people are gonna work, so
Mhm.
we probably would want to do evening times if that works. And like
Like
I
around
said,
The
6
third and the
o'clock?
Yeah.
fourth, the third and the fourth is okay, not the fifth, because that's Ash Wednesday, yeah.
perfect.
Okay, I have to check and get back.
You don't need to do both. If you're only available one day, we'll take the one day and
Yep.
we'll probably have, because of the tight flip, depending on how many applicants we get,
Have a
we may be
service.
doing them in different, at different times on different
And
platforms.
is this in person or virtual?
The commissioners have traditionally done these virtually,
We've
and we
done-
can continue on that in the past unless somebody feels very strongly that we need to go in person.
In the past, though, I've interviewed live,
In person, you mean?
That was the
in,
way past,
no, in person.
but not the last couple of years.
I,
We can do it in person.
I thought the last couple of years we've been,
It was in person.
since COVID,
yeah,
I believe
yeah.
we've been online.
It's okay. And it's
But virtually, but if the commissioners would like to do them in person, I mean, that's what we've done with the teen council. We could
Mhm.
try to set that up. We really want to accommodate whatever
doesn't matter.
works best for you.
What's the easiest for staff?
Probably Zoom, I would guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think given the time frame, why don't we do virtual again, and then we can evaluate whether we want to stay with
Okay.
virtual moving forward, and then we can look at implementing a new process down the road.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that. Let's do virtual this time and then we'll evaluate it.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I think
Early
we,
evening's fine. I record Family Feud anyway, so.
perfect. That would be wonderful. We would hate for you to miss out on the family
At
feud.
anytime you want.
Steve Harvey.
We would hate for you to miss out on the family feud.
Absolutely.
But he, Brad, the sooner you send the dates, I'll be better.
Yeah, for sure. And really, we'll have a better idea. The applications close on I have that here as part of my report. I apologize.
The answers are really.
Third is what? Is this third Monday?
The applications are closed on the 26th. So at that point, we'll have a better idea of the number of candidates and kind of the time frame that we're looking for.
So how many openings do we have on each?
We have 3 or 4 on each committee because that's when
Wow.
this is when they term off. So this isn't just because we have vacancies. This is traditional time of the year where you have,
Right.
where you have 3
April.
actual committee members and 1 alternate that are up to be reappointed
Mhm.
or appointing new committee members.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so we'll know more once we get in all the applications and then we'll kind of know what we're looking at from a time frame. But if that would be great, if you can hold those days, that would be amazing and we'll be in touch.
I'll get back to you. To check
Okay.
my calendar.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. And that's all for my report.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 5, public comments or written communication. At this time, members of the public are encouraged to address Parks and Community Services Commission on any item not already included in tonight's agenda. Comments should not exceed 3 minutes. During public comments, members of the public are permitted to address the commission on items that are not on the agenda and are within the commission's jurisdiction. Do we have any public comments? Okay. All right.
That's the email.
That's
Oh,
for
okay.
7.3.
Okay,
Yes, that's for 7.3. All right, moving on to item number 6, approval of minutes. By the way, just to clarify, we had two commission meetings in January. So we have 2 minutes approval, and we would do it separately, one at a time.
So January 22nd, right? So.
Yeah, first one is 6.1, date is January 8th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
January minutes.
Second.
Okay.
Will.
Well,
Yeah, Mr. Gurley.
all right. It's been accepted. So next, moving on 6.2, special meeting on January 22nd, 2025. Do I have a move?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item number 7, commission business. Item 7.1, Library Advisory Committee Annual Meeting. Recommendation, receive the report, provide feedback, and recommend the annual report to be forwarded to City Council for consideration. Introduction by Steve Cox, Education Supervisor, presented by Dinesh Govindarao, Library Advisory Committee Chair.
Thank you, Chair Mitra, fellow commissioners, member of the audience. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Steve Cox, and I am the staff advisor to the San Ramon Library Advisory Committee. Tonight, the Library Advisory Committee is pleased to present its 2024 annual report, highlighting the committee's key accomplishments, future goals, and to get feedback, and then to recommend the report to be forwarded to City Council. As we know, the city of San Ramon loves their libraries. The Library Advisory Committee is a key part of that. And so it's with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce current chair Dinesh Govindario to give that library annual report.
Thank you, Steve, for the introduction, and thank you, Chair Mitra, Commissioners, staff, and members of the public. I'm Dinesh Govindarao, LEC Chair, and we'll be giving you the 2024 annual update. So if we can move to the next slide. Oh, thank you. Here's a slide of our wonderful committee members. As you can see, we have a very diverse group here. I'm currently serving as the chair, and my term will be actually ending here in April. The other members are Cindy Alpert, who we have here as our vice chair, Richard DeWatt, who was our previous chair, Masumi Kota, Johnny Tong, Deepthi Mahajan, who is one of our alternates, and Tiffany Yang, who's one of our other alternates. So what I'd like to do is kind of give you just a little bit of background about the Library Advisory Committee. The Library Advisory Committee was formed in 1992. The San Ramon Library opened in 1989, and then the Doherty Station Library opened in 2005. We meet quarterly, and we serve 2-year terms. So I'd like to discuss a little bit about the charge of the committee. Here's a list of our 5 guiding principles for the Library Advisory Committee. The first one is to make recommendations to the staff, commission, Contra Costa County library officials, and City Council on the delivery of library services. Our second is to serve as a resource and advocate to the city on the library issues. Our third is to receive and evaluate input from the community. Our fourth is to review county library policies and provide input to the county on policies for the San Ramon libraries. And our last one here, our fifth, is our act as a liaison for library issues to other governmental, nonprofit, and private organizations. So I'd like to review our 2024 goals and objectives. We had a quite an ambitious list of 7 goals that were set for 2024. Our first goal is the Library Advisory Committee will monitor the retention and use of library performance standards or the library performance metrics outlined in the city's general 2040 update. Excuse me. At the July 11th, 2024 meeting, the City of San Ramon's Parks and Community Services Recreation Supervisor presented a staff report to the Library Advisory Committee, providing an update on the library performance standards. Now, these standards include key metrics such as the number of power outlets, seating availability, meeting room accessibility, operating hours. The report detailed the current status of each performance standard, identifying areas of compliance, as well as opportunities for improvement. Now, when we look at the different ones that I discussed, now based on national averages that were approved in our 2014 general plan performance standards, the number of seats, the number of power outlets, the number of meeting rooms, and the public service hours, we exceeded the performance standards. Where we fell short was the square footage per capita, where we established a standard of 0.5 square feet per resident. And where we were in 2024, based on a consensus of 82,870, we were at 0.44 square feet per resident. So it's a little bit under that. Now, if we go project to 2035, where we're projecting our number of residents to be at 94,024, our square footage will drop a little bit lower to 0.39 square feet per resident. So just thought I'd share that with the group here. Our second goal is the Library Advisory Committee will continue to evaluate library services to ensure San Ramon Libraries services meet and respond to the evolving needs of the community. Throughout the year, the City of San Ramon's Recreation Supervisor and County Library Manager, Dr. Francis and Elaine Pedley, provide the Library Advisory Committee with updates on the status of programs and events at the San Ramon Library, as well as the Doherty Station Library. These updates highlighted key areas including programs and events, facility utilization, funding, hours of operation, staffing levels, and overall circulation at both libraries, at both locations there. And it's really amazing to see how many wonderful offerings we have for our youth, our children, our teens, our adults, and our seniors. So it's just amazing to see that. And what's really unique about our city too is that we have 3 libraries here. We have our the San Ramon Library, the Doherty Station Library, and also the DVC Library for public access. So if we could, the third goal is the Library Advisory Committee members will continue to monitor library services offered in San Ramon and visit the San Ramon Library, Doherty Station Library, and the Diablo Valley College Library throughout the year and report back to on their findings. Excuse me. The Library Advisory Committee was encouraged to visit the San Ramon Diablo Valley Campus Public Library prior to the April 4th and October 10th meetings. And the reason for that is because it was held at the Doherty Station Library, which is in proximity to the Diablo Valley Campus Public Library. Committee members shared their observations and provided feedback on the library during the reports. Additional information I'd like to share is our meetings are held now at either the Doherty Library as well as the at the San Ramon Library as well as the Doherty Station Library. We alternate back and forth, and that really gives the members an opportunity to go really walk around, see what's going on in the library, and really make some observations and be able to provide some feedback. We've also moved our meeting times from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. so we can be there during the library hours. The next slide, thank you. Our fourth goal is the Library Advisory Committee will continue to monitor the Contra Costa County Library strategic plan and implementation in San Ramon. The Library Advisory Committee did not review the Contra Costa Library strategic plan implementation due to other items that were taking priority this year or this past year. But we do plan on reviewing this in our upcoming year in 2025. So hopefully we'll be able to report back to you on this in a future meeting. Our next goal, our fifth goal, and I would say a lot of the committee members would say it's probably their favorite goal, is the Library Advisory Committee will review and approve the Storywalk books that are presented by the Community Library Manager, Elaine Pedley. This is definitely, a true gem for our community to have that Storywalk. So just to give you let you know some of the books that we chose, the Library Advisory Committee reviewed and approved a Storywalk story at each meeting during the year, including Daniel's Good Day by Micah Archer for the spring, A Good Place by Lucy Cousins for the summer, Mr. S by Monica Arnaldo for the fall, and Thank You Omu by Oge Mora for the winter. We try to match these books to the season or a particular theme such as community or family. And this is such a wonderful really attribute for our city that we have here. Our next goal, our sixth goal, is the Library Advisory Committee will receive a presentation on the current hours of library services provided by Contra Costa County and the city's subsidy required to maintain additional hours of the library services in the community. The City of San Ramon Parks and Community Services Division Manager provided the Library Advisory Committee with a library hours of operation presentation at the July 11th meeting. And now the reduction of hours took effect in August due to budgetary constraints, but it was nice to hear what Brad said, that, we'll be getting those hours back. So both libraries had 46 hours, and now it's the San Ramon Library will be going back to 56. The last goal here is the Library Advisory Committee will collaborate with the county and city to explore a process to gather feedback from San Ramon Library users on possible service enhancements. The Library Advisory Committee was unable to achieve its goal in collaborating with the county and city to develop a process for gathering feedback from the San Ramon Library users regarding potential service enhancements, but we are looking to revisit this goal here in 2025. What I'd like to do is, if we can just stay on the slide for a little bit, I'd like to highlight what's on this slide. And if you look at the pictures and the diagrams, so if you look on the two, there's a couple sets of pictures. The one with it looks like a sound booth. It's a soundproof, a Zoom, they're calling it a Zoom booth. And what it is, it's there. We're going to be having two Zoom booth or soundproof workstations at the San Ramon Library. So it's going to be a new addition over there, and I think that'll be a great asset, especially for people. They want to take calls. They want to do, come in for, to do a meeting. It'll be really nice for, especially for people that work at home. So it's a really great asset for our community here. And if you look at the right. So the one on the left with the Zoom booths, that's going to be taking place at the San Ramon Library, and we're going to be getting two Zoom booths. I think in the next few weeks here is what I understand. The one on the right, if you look at, was the bookshelf. So if you've ever been into the Doherty Station Library, you walk in and you look to the left where they have like a gathering area. There were some bookshelves that were fixed, in place, bolted to the ground, and what they were finding is when they have these gatherings, that it was getting quite crowded. So they were thinking, hey, can we maybe move or have movable bookshelves so we can make more space? So when we do have these meetings and these like these discussions or whatever, whatever events, that we can actually move them and create more space. So when I spoke to one of the librarians there the other day, and he mentioned that they could get 200 people, when they have those fixable or those bookshelves that you couldn't move. But now with the movable ones, they can get about 300 people in there. So it's a pretty big, significant change. And definitely would like to thank the San Ramon Library Foundation for their generous contributions for all these items. So if we can move to the next slide here are our goals and objectives for 2025. Now, these goals are tied to the parks, trails, open space, and recreation master plan, where we embrace the guiding principle of balance, quality, and quantity. So if we look at our first goal, that's the Library Advisory Committee will monitor the retention and use of the library performance standards or library performance metrics outlined in the city's general plan 2040 update. Our second goal is the Library Advisory Committee will evaluate library services to ensure they effectively meet and adapt to the evolving needs of the San Ramon community. And these are brought forth by our library managers, Dr. Francis and Elaine Pedley. Our third goal is the Library Advisory Committee will request a presentation on the implementation of the Contra Costa County Library Strategic Plan as it pertains to the San Ramon libraries. I think I mentioned this earlier, that we didn't achieve in 2024, and we're looking forward to achieving this and completing this in 2025. Our next goal, our fourth goal, is the Library Advisory Committee will review and approve Storywalk book selections presented by the community library manager. Our fifth is the Library Advisory Committee will explore a new set of performance benchmarks for the San Ramon libraries, focusing on circulation rates, program attendance, digital resource usage, patron satisfaction, and operational efficiency. We have benchmarks currently, but we want to look and explore if there are other relevant benchmarks that we should be evaluating as well. And our last goal here is the Library Advisory Committee will collaborate with the county and the city to explore a process to gather feedback from San Ramon Library users on possible service enhancements. Now, we always love to hear back from the residents, and this was again a goal that we didn't complete in 2024, but excuse me, but we'd like to make sure we complete here in 2025. So I have come to the end of my presentation. I'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity to present today. Also, special thanks to Commissioner Breed, Kaney, Mithra, and Levy for attending some of our meetings. And I'm just going to open up for any questions, comments, or ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great presentation. Do you have anything? I mean, we're going through the commission clarifying questions. Can
Do I
start.
have any questions?
Yeah, I thought you were starting to ask something.
No, I just said thanks, Chris.
Oh, sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Great job.
Glad to do it. Thank you.
All right. Speakers, let's see. I don't have any name here.
Oh, well.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So we just had the announcement that the hours have been extended. So was that on the way? Was it coming? Were you aware of it? And how is it gonna affect? It's just at the main library and not the Art of Grant?
Yeah, no, so I just heard about it, but it sounds like it's going to be, just heard about it before the meeting.
Yeah.
I knew it was in the works because I know the council meeting had approved it, but I'm still looking how we're going to operationalize that.
Yeah.
But the 10 hours will be added to the San Ramon Library. So it was basically the 10 hours that were removed from it. So it went from 56 to 46. So both libraries, well, actually, let me rephrase that. The the Doherty Station Library was closed on Sundays and Mondays. The San Ramon Library was only closed on Sundays. And now because of the budget shortfall, then it was also closed on Mondays as well. So now we're going to reopen Mondays from my understanding.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you would like to add anything else? Steve?
So it doesn't affect the Sunday hours. It's still gonna be closed, but it's gonna have that Monday then.
Back again, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
I
If I
think
can
there'll be
clarify
few-
that the county doesn't have any libraries that are open on Sundays anymore. That's a countywide decision that was made due to staffing. It's
Yeah.
really hard to do that, so they just made it countywide. But yes, with this, it brings back our Monday hours as well as a couple hours on Tuesday and Wednesday at the San Ramon Library.
I mean, Sunday would seem like a day when families or students and except.
Again, that was a county decision and it's not something that they can support at this time. I believe it has to do with staffing and staffing levels and whatever their findings are. So all the standard library hours are Monday through Saturday.
Gotcha. How long have that been in effect?
A number of years now. Sorry, I do not know I mean, at least 3 years, I think. I don't have the
Okay.
specific year that they
Alright,
they
but-
put that into place.
So.
And it was hard because there was only a handful of cities that had libraries that had Sunday hours.
Right,
So when looking for staff to cover or to move to the different libraries, it made it hard from a scheduling perspective because I believe there was 3 or 4 of us that had the Sundays and no one else had the Sunday hours. So they were wanting to be a little bit more consistent and they've done that with their hours of operation. Now it's like, it's not an à la carte. If you want 40 hours, you get this. If you want 46 hours, you get this. If you want 52, you get that. If you want 56, you get that.
okay.
And it's specific per day for hours of the day, so on and so forth.
Okay, and I mean, we have 2 libraries.
Correct.
How many other cities, municipalities have 2 libraries? I mean, the third's a bonus. It's kind of like out of the,
There's currently 2 other cities, us and Walnut Creek have 2 libraries. There's another city that has 2 libraries, but they're not operated the same. They're kind of one of them is a self-serve library, so it's not really in comparison. But to my knowledge, the last time I did the research, it's just us and Walnut Creek. They're the only ones that have 2 libraries per one city.
well,
Yeah, and I think Antioch may also have 2 as well. I'm not sure, when I was looking at the list of libraries. So it's definitely Walnut Creek and it may also be Antioch as well.
Okay.
And we could get back to you on that.
just curious. I mean, we have the, DVC is kind of an extra.
Yeah.
Our third library.
Are they open on Sundays?
No.
DVC is not open on Sundays.
Okay. to college, right?
There's no classes on Sunday.
I went to college. We worked on Sunday.
All right. Anything else?
No, I guess that's it. I just wanted to get an idea about, when is that going to be reinstated? Is there a date? Is it immediate?
There's not a specific date. We're still working with the county on how long that's gonna take them to be able to implement those. They've got to, again, look for staff, rearrange staff schedules, so on and so forth. They think it's gonna be about 2 months. So we're hoping early April, mid-April, we'll be able to have the library open back to our
Okay.
standard hours.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice Chair Breed.
Thanks. Hey, Dinesh, first, thanks so much.
Excellent.
I have two questions. Hopefully they'll be easy. Back to library hours. Did we get any complaints or any feedback from the public on the cutback of library hours that you know of?
I'm gonna actually see, we heard some kind of rumblings about it, but it wasn't like a lot, but I'm gonna pass it to you to see if maybe you have any additional feedback on that.
Yes, thank you. To my knowledge, it was relatively minimal.
Okay.
Of course, I think the initial idea of losing primarily Mondays at the San Ramon Library, were upsetting, but I think the goal was to reinstate those hours. And as we've just heard, City Council was able to do that. So I think people will be generally very excited to hear those hours will be.
No, I got that. I'll
As
give,
well.
I have some,
Yeah.
an idea on when I
But
get
it was
comments.
relatively minimal overall, I think, with the idea that the hope was is that they would be reinstated at a later date.
Okay, and then the second question, thank you. And the hey, I'll do Dinesh. The second question is like the library I know we did the performance center and you shared that with us. On the Wi-Fi, I know we talked that, but how do we make sure the Wi-Fi keeps up with the demand in the library? Because I know a lot of people go there now for work at home and stuff. So I don't know if we can answer that, but do we measure that or what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I haven't explored that.
Yeah,
And that's something that as we're looking at those new benchmarks.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good idea to look at that as well.
yeah,
To make sure that we're meeting the demands of the public.
yeah. Thanks, Dinesh. I know it's a wild card question, but I didn't know if that was, explored more. So thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, could I piggyback on that real quick? Because if you're gonna put Zoom rooms in there, you're gonna need to have video bandwidth. So that's gonna be important. If people are gonna use those for video conferencing.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's something we can look into and get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can expand on it, it is something, technically the Wi-Fi and the technology is handled by the county. So that's a county
Oh, really?
service as part of operating the county. That's a
Okay.
county operation. And so they do charge the cities for those services and to recover costs and so on and so forth. So that is something that they look at. They did a survey in regards to determining where the Zoom booths were going to go throughout the county-wide.
Mhm.
And they found there were 3 locations, San Ramon Library specifically being one of them, where they have a lot of people going to that library specifically to work outside the home. And that's why it was chosen as one of those 2 libraries, as well as with the wonderful foundation we have to support it, was another reason for that. But the technology is something that the county handles, and to my knowledge, they've never had a problem with adequate
Okay.
coverage.
So
in there,
that means
'cause it's not going to increase the use with the Zoom booths. It's just adding another element, but to make sure that the receivers are in the right place and all of that, they've taken that into consideration. So the Wi-Fi is not a problem.
They wouldn't have approved the facility if they didn't have.
Correct.
Get connectivity in place. Okay,
Correct.
thanks.
Anything else? Vice Chair?
One quick question. I know I should know the answer because I was at that meeting when you talked about installation of the Zoom booths, but is it by reservation and do they reserve it through the city, some sort of infrastructure that the city has in place?
Yeah, so it's going to be reserved. My understanding, I think they're working out the sort of the logistics of that, but it'll be reserved through the San Ramon Library here. And so I think it'll be like maybe 1 hour slots, but I think again, they're working through the logistics of
Got it.
that. So it'll be on a first come, first served basis, but how that's going to happen, I mean, that's still more to be worked out.
Got it. But you said like within the week, they're going to be in place,
Well,
right?
So when I spoke to Dr. Francis earlier today, he was saying that he had heard in the next few weeks, they should have 2 Zoom booths
That's exciting.
at this location here.
Nice. That's exciting.
Cool.
Thanks, Dinesh.
Okay.
And they
Uh,
also, they currently reserve rooms. They have a bunch of study rooms and meeting rooms currently there. So they'll run the same system for the Zoom booths in regards to signing up. There will be limits, so on and so forth. And the county will be doing that at the front desk, just like they do our meeting rooms and our study rooms that are at that facility at both libraries. So they're planning on doing the Zoom booths kind of that same way.
yeah.
So it's not an online reservation.
They may tweak it. I do not believe they're online. It's all in person because they're in high demand. So they want to make sure the person's there that's going to be using them and so on and so forth is my understanding. It's not online.
Thank you. That was my question. So thanks for answering.
When I get clarification, we can put that in a report or report back to you. But my understanding is everything is in person due to the demand of the booth. They want to make sure the people are there and it's being used properly.
Got it. All right. Student Commissioner Chawla.
Yeah, and then also thank you for your presentation. The
Absolutely.
libraries are something that's like such a big resource for teens especially. My question is kind of similar to that. I know a lot of teens face struggles with actually booking the rooms because there's no call-in or online reservation process. So a lot of times they struggle with like if they want to meet with their group, they can't really do that because they have to go in person to book the rooms, which a lot of times is not available. So I was just kind of wanted to bring up that concern because I know a lot of teens face it. So if there is any potential of having an online reservation process or a call-in system, which I know is a little bit risky, I know that would be a really big help to teens. Additionally, I know a lot of teens like to rent out or like kind of have these libraries to host events, but I just kind of wanted to know the process for that because I know some people in my community have been like using the library to have their own events, but a lot of teens in my community also struggle with finding the process for that. So if you could just kind of explain how that works, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same process that, we're talking about with the Zoom pods. So you have to go again, in person and book it. And I think it's a great idea to be able to do it online because you want to make it as seamless as possible for the students. So that's something we can take back to the county and see if there's other ways and on how to approach that. And when it comes to the other, like I know, for example, like on Fridays, they do these STEAM type of meetings and especially at the Doherty station. And so they do book those ahead of, in advance, but it is on a first come, first serve. So unfortunately, if you're not there physically, you're going to have to wait or get in line for that. But I like your idea about trying to do something online and seeing if we could, I think what's also just having to make sure too that, sometimes people do sign up for things and then they don't show up. So that we kind of have to figure out how to work, make sure that doesn't also where that's getting abused in a sense where people are signing up, but then people aren't showing, and then there's empty rooms where other people could be using it.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to figure those logistics out as well.
Okay, thank you. And then I don't know if I missed this, but for the additional 10 hours, they're going to be added on Monday, is what I
Yeah.
heard?
So what happened was there was 56 hours at the San Ramon Library.
Yeah.
There was, and so what the hours of operation, so it's Tuesday through currently the way it is right now, it's Tuesday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then it's Tuesday through Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday, it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the hours are in sync for both the San Ramon Library as well as the Doherty Station Library. So what they're going to do is the Monday hours they're going to bring back.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 8 hours. I'm not sure exactly. And then like how Brad had mentioned earlier, they may tack on a couple more hours throughout the week for at the San Ramon Library as well.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I misspoke on that. It'll be 10 hours that come back on Monday. So it'll be the same 10 to 8 service on Monday that it currently is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So now the San Ramon Library will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 8. And then their Friday, Saturday is 9 to 5, I believe.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Lopez Lucy.
I have a question on where we came up short on the percentage that we didn't meet because of, our population increasing. If it continually goes down, what will happen? I mean, how do we get that back to what they request?
Well, again, so what that is basically on square footage. So the only way we could increase that if our population goes up is to build more.
To build more.
Right. And so I guess the question then comes is that, those are some standards that they're not they're not ones that, it's standards that we looked and said, this would be appropriate kind of given what we have to offer here. Could those numbers be lower? I mean, right now we're at a lower number and we haven't really heard where things are very congested and tight. So I think if we start getting that feedback where they feel like the space is not there, then we may want to rethink some of these things, like how do we want to expand the space to accommodate folks?
Okay, thank
But
you.
yeah, great question. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. I had two questions. One is already answered. So I'm going to go to the other one. So your goal, 2024 goal and objectives number 3, which is the library advisory committee member will continue to monitor library services offered in San Ramon and visit libraries, right? Any specific highlighting or anything that specifically learned by those visits?
Yeah, so one of the things we want to do is, that's a great question. We actually wanted to, this last year, it was more of an informal way of approaching it. We've been kind of discussing how to formalize this process more. And so at one of the future meetings, we're looking to formalize that process. So when we have each of the committee members can actually have a template to use to record some of their observations and create some consistency throughout. So just to give you some ideas here, we did observe like the different libraries, and that's because our meetings are held there, but one of their focuses was also to look at the Diablo Valley College Library as well. And so when we looked at that and just to see how that compares, some of the things that we observed from there is just the openness of that, where there's a section where it's very open, you can collaborate more. And, if you want to have these meetings and the way the tables are set up, then there's another section where it's almost like their own pods, or individual pods. So there's a very interesting setup that we may want to maybe think of some of those ideas and incorporate into what we're doing in our current libraries. So that was one thing. When we looked at, for example, getting information, they had a big screen TV, and there was like a QR code you have, and you can get and find out what the events are. And so just getting that information kind of quickly and and available to you may be something we may want to pull from them as well. So that was another thing. We also observed that, it was nice that the sitting pods I just mentioned. The other things I just was going to mention as well is, there you can't check out books. We observed this, unless you're a student at the Diablo Valley College. And I don't think we have Wi-Fi access there unless you're a student as well. So that's the other thing. So those are some observations that we had, but we definitely want to formalize that process. And make sure that we have some consistency and some standardization to that when we're reporting back to the committee.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. If there is no other questions, let's go to public comments. Do we have any public comments? We do not have that. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's go to commissioner comments. Anybody wants to start?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Dinesh, thank you again for the presentation. I just wanted to, when I went to the library, thank you for letting me come, by the way. I thought I was so, I don't know if zealous or whatever, but really fired up about the programs we offer at our libraries. I think it's pretty amazing, and it'd be great to continue to advertise to the public. And also, I love that, the committee really went after the plan where where it put performance standards, because I think that's really important, and that we documented that. I just have a couple ideas. And
sure,
might be not. Anyways, this storybook walk seems like a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Even your presentation of Zeal on it. I wonder if we expanded that different parts of the city. I mean, we have in Central Park. Is there a need, I live up by Sports Park, right? Could that be a place that we look at putting storybook walk, since it's so successful? Where do we put it in the west side of the city somewhere in the park, just try and get more of more people involved in such a really cool, cool concept. So it might be an idea. The other idea is the reason why I asked about the hours. Now's a really cool time. It's more for staff, but now's a really cool time to capture. We lost all the hours. What was the cost involved? how to affect the library, so we can document, because this probably won't be the first time that, we lose hours. And so next time it comes out, we'll have documentation for the city council to say, last time we lost the hours, here's how it affected the library, here's how it affected the community, here's the feedback we got, so we get to defend maybe not getting library hours cut or something else. So I just thought now would be a really cool time to document if we would, what could happen. That way city council can have more of an educated documentation on how now it's affected and what was happening, and also the cost involved bringing it back. So it's just an idea. You're gonna do that. So overall, hey, thanks. It's a really good presentation. Really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
taking the time. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, Commissioner Levy.
Sure. Thank you, Dinesh. Great presentation, of course. It's always great to see the Library Advisory Committee, the work that it does represented. That committee is very dear to my heart. I did have a couple of comments on the two goals that the committee fell a little short on for continuing to monitor the county library strategic plan implementation. I could be wrong about this, but I get the feeling that that's a goal that's been kind of carried over from year to year for a while now, if I'm remembering correctly from my time on the committee. So I like that it's been slightly rephrased to request a presentation on the implementation of that plan, because that, you can make the request, the answer could be no, or we don't have time, but at least that's a way of actually, making some progress on that goal. But I would like to see some focus on that, just because it's been kind of pending for a while. The other one was about the collaborating with the county and city to get feedback. I think there's a lot of efforts that go on that front already. Again, I have a memory of the county using like a vendor called Orange Boy or something to do some feedback. And I know that the city itself has done, surveys for dog parks and things like that in the past. So I feel like there's definitely a way to get there and achieve that. I understand it's a committee that meets quarterly. Schedules and putting things together don't always align, but when there's only a handful of goals and it's a quarterly, committee, it seems possible to kind of plan and make that stuff happen. So, and which is not a cut on staff or the committee itself at all. It's just sort of some advice. And then the one other thing, which I probably should have done under clarifying questions, was I know that the library has recently acquired a 3D printer. Is that something the Library Advisory Committee has gotten a presentation on to kind of talk about that offering at all?
So that's a great point. We haven't received a presentation, but it is up and working
Mhm.
at the San Ramon Library. So we do have a 3D printer, and my understanding is that things gets if you have something to print, it gets sent to a Dropbox, and then they decide basically on how long the project's going to be. So they try to keep those projects to about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, no, very good. And clearly you do know how it works. So,
But I think it's important, to definitely get a presentation to our committee members.
It's just sort of a unique offering that our library has that a lot of others don't. So it would be nice to see the committee kind of learn more from staff about how that works and how it's being used. That's all I had. Great job.
Thank you.
One quick question about the 3D printer.
Yeah.
Is it open for public?
It is.
I don't know how many people actually aware of this.
So we probably should advertise it more.
Yeah.
It is open. I don't know when it went into effect, but has it been almost a year? I don't know, but it's been a while. But I will, we can discuss that about
Especially for the kids. I mean, they would love to at least come and take a view or do something about it if needed, right?
Yeah.
Cool tool. Yeah.
That's my understanding. Yes.
See?
That's it.
Yeah. So whole Doherty Valley High School is going to come there. Just kidding.
All right. Any other question? Any other comment? Anybody?
Just thank you, Dinesh, for your leadership. Yeah, you do a terrific job facilitating the meetings and stuff, and the limited exposure I've had so far, it's just been a pleasure. And thank you, Cindy, if she's still here, for all that you do, because you are instrumental in what don't you do, right? So thank you both for all you contribute.
All right. I would like to finish with that. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Cindy, and thank everybody, every past, present, and future members, because this is an amazing committee. I was there. I know that it is a great service to the community, and I'm glad that we are adding 10 more hours back. I'm really good at that. I personally actually heard a couple of complaints about the hour cuts when it happened. I did personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm glad for that. So thank you. Thanks for your service. Really appreciate that.
Thank you again for the
We have a
time.
motion?
Thanks, Dinesh.
Thank you.
We have a
Oh, but
motion.
yeah, we have to move it to the
Yeah, I'll
motion.
make a motion that we accept the report and refer it with our recommendation to the city council.
I'll second. You can have that one, Carol.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Lopez Lucis.
I did.
Here a second.
Wait a second.
Now you do that.
There you
Yes.
go.
There you go.
Now you don't have to vote. It's automatic. Boom.
All right. Thank you, 6-0. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Sunny.
Unanimous is always great. Thank you again.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Guys.
Good night, guys.
I did want to thank Dinesh. I mean, he is well prepared. I mean, he really takes this seriously. He's been a wonderful chair. So thank you, Dinesh. And sorry, Cindy was the one, Kyle, who made that suggestion to the one goal. So
Very good.
she's on it. Thank you.
Good job, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, moving on to item number 7.2, gymnasium usage update. Recommendations, receive the report and provide feedback. Presentation by Jennifer Gollett, Recreation Supervisor. Good. There you go.
All right, so a little bit of background about our gym. The city of Santa Monica has two, have two joint use gymnasiums. They're located at Ironhorse Middle School and Pine Valley Middle School. And we do have the joint use agreement that outlines the usage and the maintenance. Santa Monica Valley Unified School District the exclusive right to use the gymnasium every school day from 4 p.m. Sometimes they'll also have it for school events as well. And then the city has exclusive rights to the gymnasium after 4 p.m. on the school day, along with weekends, non-school days like school days, and then SSUOC and the city share the cost for any agreement that as well as the janitorial services at the conclusion of each day. Responsible for cleaning the gyms and setting them up.
Yep.
The department utilizes the gyms for a variety of sports programs and mental staff are responsible for scheduling anything to be This is done on a quarterly basis, and the city has established priority guidelines to ensure equitability in rentals, classes, looking at work, age ranges, and on the screen here, you can see that city's programs receive priority use, and then we'll reach out to SRB to see if there's any extra time they need for school events and things. And then we will open it up to our co-sponsors athletic group. And then everything else is available for rental. So up here on the screen, you're going to see how we break out some quarters throughout the year. All requests are reflected by those deadlines and then kind of allocated based on availability and equitability. So when we're reviewing those rental requests, staff are taking into consideration the sport, the age groups, the number of participants, and it's dated will look at gender, residence percentages. The city of Santa Monica is committed to following the Fair Act, which provides equal use sports opportunities for both boys and girls. And we look at that not only for our programs, but also the girls. The objective each quarter is for the staff to create a schedule that allows access to the facility, not only for a variety of programs, but also ensuring space that remains available for them. Ensures a wide variety of opportunities for the community, not only for our recreational programs, but the classes and anyone, but also for the more competitive programs that are also important. So how we look at our quarterly, people will adjust their time, having them at weekend or at time, and that just needs to be done back up. So if they're working out in June, they need to have that time. If we do have requests that come in after the 15th of the month, we still may try and accommodate those. So with the energy investment going on our facility, or if we have staff that are able to. Rental information for the gyms is available on our city website. And all requests need to be made utilizing a form. That is, it cannot be done independently online. So it can be done with some of those. This is allowing the staff to make sure that the space is this ensures that all the time is spread out equally. And we're looking at that equitability factor for all the different sports and things. So we're going to take a closer look at each of the gyms. Up here on the screen, you're going to see a diagram for Iron Horse Gym. This site is available to accommodate most of our sports. So we've got basketball, volleyball, futsal, and badminton. This gym is also able to accommodate pickleball. If he's on those badminton courts, you slightly adjust the gym line. The gym does have 3 individual floors, so we can lower a divider and separate those 3 floors there. So you have 3 individual basketball courts, or with those dividers up, you have 1 court down the middle of the gym. You can have 3 volleyball courts, or if you have the dividers up, you can have 5 volleyball nets all interconnected down the gym. There are 3 badminton courts with pickleball courts on each of the floors, so a total of 9 badminton. Iron Horse Gym is primarily used for our older youth programs and adult programs because the basketball courts at this site are a little larger. And then in 2022, the gymnasium courts at this site were renovated, so we sanded them and relined them. And at that point, the city had the opportunity to add badminton lines and the sleeves for the equipment, which enabled us to. So we conducted an analysis at the conclusion of the conference. So we're going to see a lot of that on the next slide. Here you're going to see the breakdown of hours that are utilized by sport. The programs and rentals that primarily our adult open gym program. So we have open gym basketball on Mondays and Fridays, volleyball on Thursday evenings. We have badminton on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And also have pickleball on Sundays during the. We also have our volleyball league that takes place Tuesdays. And then we have a variety of classes, volleyball, badminton, basketball, and then our camp during the summer include basketball, volleyball, badminton, football. So rentals that primarily take place at Iron Horse Gym are typically basketball and volleyball for both youth and adults. Jump over to Pine Valley Gym. We'll see the diagram on the screen. Pine Valley Gym can accommodate basketball, volleyball, and futsal. It is not able to accommodate badminton at this time. This gym has 2 individual floors. If you put that divider down, so you have 2 individual basketball courts there, or you could have the main court down the middle. It also has 2 individual volleyball courts, or if you have the divider up, you can have 3 nets. And Pine Valley Gym is primarily utilized for our younger age groups in basketball programs, as well as volleyball, futsal, and some of our multi-sport programs that are there. The basketball courts at this site are shorter in length. They're more that junior high basketball court size. And then the hoops at this site can be lowered from the standard 10 feet down to 8 feet. So this site is more ideal for our youth basketball. Basketball programs, like I mentioned, so our little dribble basketball classes for ages 3 to 9. We have our youth basketball league for grades K to 2. We also have lots of volleyball classes that we over there, as well as our youth camps with our basketball, volleyball, football. The rentals that utilize this site are our adult groups typically, the early evening basketball rentals or early mornings on the weekend. We also have youth volleyball, basketball, and football groups. All right, so as I mentioned, we conducted a use analysis at the end of the program. And during this process, staff was able to identify some trends and next steps for the gym. Identifying these trends provided us with opportunities to improve our processes and develop plans to more effectively utilize these spaces. One of the trends that we identified during this process was the vacancy rate of the facilities. We really wanted to know when programs and rentals are using that space and what types of sports and all of the information. So the analysis showed us that out of 18,975 hours available, 11,640 of those hours were utilized. They were utilized by rentals, programs, and maintenance. And any other time that the school district needed. Now, when I'm referring to the time that's available, it's not a 24-hour window. This is the time that we would typically program or rent the space. So typically that's 4 to 10 p.m. on weekdays or 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on the weekends or non-school days. Staff was able to identify those underutilized times throughout the year and strategize how we can maximize the spaces. So specifically, one of the challenges we had was the contract basketball league for grades 3 through 12. The court allocation was always a challenge with this program. As with any program and with this league, we would allocate space on the front end of it prior to registration and things. Once registration closed, that league would give us back the time that they will need, and then we would turn around and try and rent that space out after that. However, usually by that point, many of the groups have already found alternate locations, so some of that time usually goes unused. So we really wanted to look at that process and address that and see how we could better maximize the space. The contract for this basketball league concluded in the spring 2024, and due to declining registration over the past 3 years, the city opted not to bid for a new contractor. And instead, we reallocated those program hours to rental hours in our plan. And so this allowed the league, allowed the contractor to independently rent the space and still continue to offer the program to the community, which is great. It just made all those hours available up front, and they rented only the time they needed, allowing other rentals to rent that other time that was going unused on the back end. So with the steps we've been taking this year, learning from all of this, we were able to rent an additional 323 hours from July to December 2024, as compared to the same time the previous year. This year, we continue to work and combine the overall facility use by pairing up programs with rentals, really utilizing those multiple floors. And that's been also allowing us to reduce staffing hours, not spreading them out across multiple gyms. So one of the main trends we see for the gyms is Iron Horse Gym is impacted primarily by city programs. And that's due to the ability to accommodate all the sports, including our badminton programs. Staff continue to balance the youth between sports as a demand is shifting with the facility. An example of this is, as the demand for badminton is increasing, and the preference for pickleball is now outside at our new courts. Staff was able to adjust our open gym program to run pickleball seasonally. So we still have it November through February when it's cold and rainy outside. But then we were able to flip that same time that wasn't being utilized, where there were not a lot of participants. We've been able to flip that for badminton and accommodate more of that growing need.
Good.
One of the items staff is always keeping in mind is how do we plan ahead? And exploring the addition of badminton lines and equipment at Pine Valley in the coming years. So once that floor is up for replacement, or refurbishment, we're really looking at how can we add those lines and that equipment at that site, which will hopefully help us alleviate the demand on Iron Horse Gym and open it up for those larger rentals. It's a bigger space, there's more floors, it's more desirable for basketball tournaments and things like that. So hopefully that'll help down the road. We also know from the master plan that adding additional pickleball and badminton courts is important to the public. So it'll help us look at that goal as well. So another area that the analysis showed us was the usage trends. We know now that weekdays from 5 to 9 p.m. is the most desirable time, not only for rentals, but also for city programs. We do want to make sure that we have that time available for these rental community groups. So the city programs that we've been able to add in, we've been looking at doing that on the weekends, which is a less desirable time for rentals, aside from our. While the gyms do have the ability to rent into the late evening hours, anything rented until 10 p.m. is going to require somebody over the age of 18. That means we really have to take into consideration who we have available to work when we get these rental requests, which has been a challenge. The department does continue to work on recruitment strategies for ages 18 and up, as many of our staff are currently in. And up on the screen, you'll see a breakdown of the usage by sports of each of the gyms. So it just shows us who's using it for what. Basketball, you can see, is the most popular sport, but badminton is quickly catching up at Iron Horse now that we have the lines and equipment at that site. Using our facilities. Participant data for city programs is available, luckily for us, through our civic registration system. On average, 66% of the program participants are adults, while 33% are youth enrolled in our programs within the gym. Approximately 51% of the participants are San Ramon residents, while 48% are non-residents. Youth programs such as our classes, leagues, and camps, those are primarily attracting San Ramon residents. So that number is higher. Whereas our adult programs like Open Gym tend to attract a higher volume of non-resident participation. Up on the screen, you're going to see the number of rental groups that we have that utilize our two facilities. Participant data for the gymnasium rentals is going to vary by the type of rental and the sport. On average, practices and clinics consist of 80% San Ramon residents and 31% female participants. In contrast, larger rentals such as our youth basketball tournaments, they see closer to 70% San Ramon residents and only 5% female participation. And then you'll have your rentals like futsal and volleyball that have a much larger female participation rate, close to 80%. So as you can see, this use analysis was a great tool and it provided us with a ton of data. With the completion of the analysis, now staff is going to be able to track our operating indicators on an annual basis going forward, which is great. This information is going to help the Parks and Community Services Department when we plan any of our future programs, identifying any trends, looking at available space, when's the best time to plug in something new. looking for certain rental types if we don't have enough football groups or anything like that. So it's gonna help us identify these much easier. This information is also gonna be valuable when we're developing the budget each year and also help us with the fee resolution going forward. A lot of information. But I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, let's go with clarifying questions. Anybody has any clarifying questions, or should we start from maybe from the right side?
Thank you so much. I love the presentation and really interesting to learn more about the gymnasiums and how they're used. I was just wondering like what the gym rental price is like on average or like depending on.
So it is $69 an hour for stand-on residents, and it is $87 an hour for non-residents. For our co-sponsored athletic groups, it's $52 an hour. There's a 2-hour minimum, and that's per floor. So if they want to rent the whole gym, they have to rent the floor.
No, it sounds good. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Levy,
No questions, no.
Commissioner Lopez Lucy.
I don't have any questions.
All right, Commissioner Dollich.
So does that rental include the equipment?
It does not, it includes like the badminton and things, but we don't necessarily have like basketballs.
Oh, okay.
It's
So you got a
just the
BYOB.
main- Yeah, like volleyball net.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Vice Chair Reed.
Jennifer, I only have one or two questions. One question is, when we did this, and by the way, thanks for presentation, and it was a lot of data. I was like, holy moly, sorry. When I was trying to calculate stuff is a lot, but thank you so much. The only data point that I was looking at, do we look at the number of people waiting to play? So if I like badminton, how many people are waiting to play in badminton? How many people are waiting to play in pickleball, because it shows kind of the demand?
And so once they're in there, so on average.
Yeah, once they're in there and they're sitting waiting for a court or waiting. And I'll tell you when, like I went to go watch someone play pickleball and there's a ton of people waiting. So I'm like, do we capture that, right?
So on average, we can look at like on average attendance, how many people are coming in. And we know that for but we know for say badminton, you play with 4 people. So you can fit 12 people on the floor. And each game takes about 15 minutes. So you can kind of calculate out how long people are waiting by the average attendance for each of them. So like basketball, we usually have 50 people in attendance. Sometimes it's higher or lower. In volleyball, we have 96. And then so badminton, we have 90 on average on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. But we have that one sounds a little high because on Saturday we have 3 courts, whereas on Sunday we have 2. But we're gonna see the numbers. On Sunday or on Sunday we have 68 on average. So I would say they're waiting maybe 15 minutes to play, because they're supposed to play and then rotate off. They don't get to just stay on. So everybody hopefully within 15 minutes if they get onto it.
And I don't know if this helps. So one of the metrics that and the beauty of this is, I was the sports person years ago when the gyms were built, and then Becky took over and now Jen. So you have all this knowledge. So please, hopefully we won't take all day talking about the gyms because it is our passion. Anyways, one of the metrics we use is for basketball, for example. So we run 3 full courts. You can get 10 players on each court for a game, right? So right there, you only can accommodate 30 people per, let's say, 15 to 30 minutes per game. Well, we know if the average for basketball is 75 people, then you have traditionally people waiting. Now, there's peak periods, right? At the very, very beginning and at the very end, you're not going to have that large number of people. But for those 2 hours in the middle, which is traditionally your bulk, and I'm generalizing here, different sports have different main time periods that the bulk of the people are there. That's where you're going to have your people waiting. So, for example, for basketball, if I want to play, and usually it's winner stays on, right? So then you're rotating 5 people on and so on and so forth. If you're familiar with that, I'm going to want to be there super early or kind of near the end because there's going to be less wait time. But if I come during those traditional peak hours, you know, you're waiting a game or two to get on a court because there's 75 people and only 30 people can be playing at a time. I don't know if that helps.
No, I
trying
get
to-
it. I get
I
it.
was trying to explain it, but no, we're not
What,
counting heads at any point
no, I
during
mean,
the
yeah,
hour
what
from the
helps
staff
is, the only
president.
reason, I'll tell you what comments
Yeah.
why I'm waiting. And then the other thing is, the other question, we don't contract Iron Horse and Gale and Windermere, right? Gyms?
We do not. So
Okay.
the city, when Iron Horse and Pine Valley were looking to redo their gymnasiums, the city went in and helped fund those gymnasiums to the level that they're at now.
I got you.
At the point where they built Windermere and Gale Ranch, the city was not interested in funding, expanding those gymnasiums. And so we do not have a shared use deal for those 2 gyms. So those are, we would rent it like anybody else. And I think they have they have a co-sponsored rate, which the city would fit under.
Okay, super helpful. Thank you so much.
Sorry, John.
Anything else? Vice Chair Britt? Okay, all right. Okay, Commissioner Coney.
Thanks, Jennifer. Just a couple of quick questions. I'm wondering, how far in advance do we allow reservations? I know is that quarterly? That is quarterly. Okay, so you can't reserve gym space a year in advance. Yeah. Well, and speaking of those, because I coached CYO for many years, and gym time was always a precious commodity. So, so when you look at groups like St. Joan of Arc, for example, right, where huge programs, they will access, or they will reserve gym space as one entity, right? And then the athletic director will then sort of divvy that up internally, right? That's how that, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
All right, Jennifer, great presentation. Lot of data, real valuable data. Data is good, but when it's valuable, it's really valuable. Couple of questions. I was just looking at page number 47, which says multi-sports. What does that mean? So within one booking, they have multi sports. Okay. Got it. So it's not listed sports. So we have a list of sports that we actually allow them to do it, right? Basketball, badminton. So multi-sports is not like something else. Got it. Thank you. Another one question I had, I was looking at page number 45, which is your 23-24 FY gym usage analysis. It's a great data. Just looking at the vacant hours, can you elaborate it a little bit? Like, it is a 7,000, which is the biggest number here. I'm pretty sure this is a off hours kind of things, right? The vacant hours?
So that is, so we're looking at from the hours we have available, so from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that will go through a whole year. That vacant hours, that was things that either are like dead times.
Right,
so 9 to 10
right.
p.m. But 9 to 10 p.m. is usually really hard. They want like that earlier time. So any of that is that vacant time, unused time.
So basically unused time when nobody wants to use that. So
If I can just add one point to that too, I think it's important to know that those hours are based on at Iron Horse 3 courts. And so in any one given hour, that accounts for 3 vacancy hours or 3 rentable hours, because you can rent 3 individual courts at Iron Horse and 2 individual courts at Pine Valley. And so if you have one court being used at Iron Horse, you still have 2 vacancy hours, but 1 rentable or usable hour. So that's why those numbers are very large at 18,000 of being available hours, because you have 5 courts total for 5 vacancy or 5 hours at any given 1 hour.
Right. Any thought, I know, first of all, I mean, you explained, and it was very great that how we are using data to analyze, to make it more usage. Like, you know, the one group, they're not using it because of the lower registration, that's great insight. Have we thought of how to use these vacant hours, like discounted rates or stuff like that? I mean, that, I don't know if, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys thought about it.
That, to run these additional hours and have to clear things up, but also identifying those dead times, whether it's adding in city programs on the weekend.
Right.
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 So we're doing things like that, but then also looking at, can we discount certain times of day, or how do we package this? What are the types of so that's definitely.
Another one thing, because I was asked many times, can a third party reserve the gym, one of the 2 gyms, for non-sports events? Especially, so you brought up Sunday evening, right? Saturday evening, Sunday evening. I mean, those that I that's what I said. Like, my answer was always no. Just thought that, is there anything that is stopping us from doing that, or? Right. Mhm.
There's any of that could potentially be on the floor. And then some of the gyms, might allow those things that they have to rent for protection. To put down.
Got it. Possibly, yeah, too expensive. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. All right. If there is no other questions, let's go to public comments. No public comments. All right. Coming back to commission comments. Commissioner Lopez Lucy.
Well, thank you for a great presentation. I mean, reading this I thought I've never imagined so many, activities going on at once. And I'm thinking, oh, it must be confusing to keep track of all of this. But I'm impressed with what you're doing. And I think it's great that we have so many young and adult people using our gym. So I think you're doing a great job. And just, again, thank you for your efforts and looking forward always. So thank you for your work and service.
Thank you. Vice Chair Britt.
Yeah, hey Jennifer, thanks again for the report and all the data. And I liked how we're focused on making sure it's available to everybody, right? We're including everybody in the gym, so I think that's awesome. The one watch out I think we have is in pickleball, and not moving it out of the gyms, we're gonna take pickleball out in February. So all that demands are gonna come back out to the courts, and right now we're waiting. That's why are we measuring how many people are waiting? Because I think I personally feel that we should keep pickleball where it's at on Sundays and leave that gym open, because every time I've been there to stop to, say hi to one of my buddies, no one's on the badminton court, and we have a badminton court and it's wide open. That's not being used. So, but there's a ton of people waiting to play pickleball. So I think that might be, and as we look at master plan and we're trying to tie into, that might be a miss for us as a city to take that away on Sundays. So I would highly suggest we think about not doing that, especially when you go outdoor. I mean, there's a ton of people waiting. So, and the problem is it gets a little more testy when people are out there. So, is probably the best way of saying that. And not that people want to be, but it's just, you have a couple courts using. So that's the only watch out I would say as we go through. And I know we've worked hard and I do want to tip the hat, because I know the city's worked hard to expand on badminton aggressively, because we've had a lot of demand for that, and it looks like we're supporting that. And I knew that was a lot of work the past year that we tried to go do that. So that's some really good work. And I know it's hard to, balance all that, but I looked at how we're using all the usage trends which I thought was a really important chart, and that you guys freed up all the run hours. I thought that was super smart on how do we be more efficient. So a lot of really good work there. That's just the only thing that really jumped out to me, just because of my limited experiences seeing how my buddies playing. So because I'm playing. So yeah, thank you.
Class that comes in, a youth class, that we have on speed that day, so they may not be there right now.
Yeah, the main point was, I think we're gonna create an accident if we take that away. So, okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Dolly?
I guess those people who get mad waiting for, that would be sour pickles.
Waiting for what?
Yeah.
Sour pickles.
So, what's the percentage of, people that come in, let's take this basketball since it's a team sport, that come in, just, get a pickup game versus that come in as a team? Do we look at that? Do we have? I mean, is there a predominance of people who just come in, to get drafted, so to speak, and, come along and play, or is it mostly teams that come in?
Oh, like I know for college, like we can call all the time, like want to show up.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of people that come in on their own. But
Okay.
Again, you have your phone, so then come on Friday and play with their friends and people there. So I think you get a mix of both.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I think a lot.
Gotcha. Okay. So bring the ball and come on in. All right.
All right. Any other question from anybody? Or comment? No. Okay.
Just another thank you
Sure.
for Jennifer. Like you, Brad, I was around when Iron Horse was built and Pine Valley was modernized and rebuilt. And I'll just say that the joint use agreement we have with the school district is a model throughout the state and still is. So just kudos to everybody for it took a lot of hard work and negotiations to put all those things in place, and we're reaping the benefits from past generations, I'll say. So thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer, for the great presentation. And also thank you, Becky and Brad as well. So really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
All right. Next one, 7.3, Parks Trail Open Space and Recreation Master Plan Annual Update 2024 recommendation. Receive report and provide feedback. Presentation by Brad Morris, Division Manager.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Chair Mitra. It's a pleasure to be able to be here tonight to present to you this year's Parks, Trails, Open Space, Recreation Master Plan Annual Update. A little bit of background, the City of San Ramon City Council adopted the San Ramon Parks, Trails, Open Space, and Recreation Master Plan at their June 23rd, 2020 meeting. The plan clarifies the vision of the community for the next 10 years as it relates to parks, trails, open space, and recreation. And through that, it identified top 10 priorities. And just to kind of refresh the commission's memory on that, we have the shade and seating along the Iron Horse Trail, paved walking loop paths in the parks, preserve open space, biking and walking path connections, unpaved loop trails and open space, cricket pitch, Iron Horse Trail connection over Bollinger Canyon, lit basketball courts, facility renovations, and then nature-based play equipment and programming. So those were kind of the 10 top priorities. Of course, there's much more in this report that we were working on. A little bit more on the background. It further detailed 95 specific recommendations to be achieved over the next 10 years. And the plan kind of divided those recommendations up over what should take place from years 0 to 5, from 6 to 10, and from 11 to 20. And then it also categorized whether those are ongoing, low, medium, or high priority for the community. Staff has done a great job going through the 95 recommendations and provided a brief update on the progress made in 2024. The spreadsheet is arranged in the same order as the master plan, so it's easy for you to reference. I've tried to dwindle down the report, not to go over each line item that's in the Excel spreadsheet. And so some of it is duplicated in some areas. So I hope that, that, and then this presentation will focus on those major accomplishments that took place through those categories. So if I can, I'd like to start with interconnected, which is one of our major themes. One of the major categories or one of the major priorities that you'll see throughout the document, if you look at the Excel spreadsheet, reflects back to the Trails Master Plan, RFP, RFQ, and selecting a consultant to develop a plan to include recommendations for. And this is part of that where, sorry, let me get caught up here on the slides here, sorry. And so that really checked a lot of boxes for those priorities and those recommendations. So loop trails and open space, partner with outside agencies to improve and further development of the San Ramon Trail system, future expansions for Cross Valley trails, future trails at Old Ranch space connecting Old Ranch Park to the El Costa Senior Community Center, as well as to the San Ramon Dublin border. We got a lot of feedback on the importance of that, as well as future east-west connections. To continue on with that interconnected piece, Smart Outdoor continues to pursue sponsors for the city of San Ramon Trail System. But to this date, we have not been successful. We thought we've had a couple leads. We're still working on it. They still feel confident that they should be able to bring somebody in. It's just a matter of time. We have a huge trail system, and so they would prefer to bring in one vendor or one sponsor for the whole package. And so it's taking a little bit more work than anticipated, but they feel confident on that. The Transportation Division initiated and updated the Bicycle Master Plan to encompass bike paths throughout the city, assisting in the development of the Smart Outdoors mobile app, Trail Eyes is what the app's called. We're hoping to have that launched in summer 2025, which will be nice. And then continue the work, of course, on the Bollinger Canyon overcrossing, which is anticipated opening, we hope, late summer of 2025. So
All right.
they've done an amazing job keeping that on track. So that's exciting.
That's before or after the Eagle.
That'll be after the Eagle.
Right.
Yes.
One at a time.
Two big accomplishments.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yep.
So moving on to our second theme, which is conservation and connection to nature. Open space dedicated to the GAD by Lennar as part of the Faria Preserve development is anticipated to take place in the summer of 2025. We're excited. We were able to partner with the Contra Costa County Health Services to secure an environmental services infrastructure grant to purchase commercial dishwasher for the Costa Senior Center. And this has really helped us reduce waste at that site and increased our composting efforts to help with the citywide initiative towards that Senate Bill 827. So we've been really excited about that. We've partnered with the Master Gardeners for educational presentations at the Crow Canyon Gardens, as well as the Open Space Advisory Committee continues to receive updates from the East Bay Regional Park District, as well as the county, on projects that might impact open space around San Ramon. Also, we've continued our efforts. We have 5 lead hikes that for outreach events in conjunction with the Open Space Advisory Committee that have been well received. Oh, I'm being tardy on this, aren't I, Becky? Thank you very much. Thank you for the assist. Apologize. I'm just into my presentation.
It's working
here.
great, by the way.
I'm missing
worries.
the slides.
No.
Thank you, Becky. We've also developed a great partnership with Headlands and Planify to lead specialized workshops, classes, and camps for the community of the youth at Crow Canyon Gardens. Created and implemented a nature storytime program at Annabelle Lake. Continue to replace old irrigation controls, convert turf to drought-tolerated shrubs with bubbling irrigation, which will use less water and meet water conservation goals. This one is throughout the document if you read it, and I really didn't want to put it on there. I mean, the public services team has done an amazing job to really take this on, and it's really checked a lot of boxes with that. We've initiated the Boone House Preservation Study with a consultant to identify phasing of the preservation and the renovation of the Boone House, which is exciting. We've added 3 new enrichment science camps and classes, instructors for youth for the ages 5 to 12, which is one of those goals in there. Wrapping up the conservation and connection section to nature, we've completed our partnership agreement with Bishop Ranch to provide access to Annabelle Lake, which is exciting. We're going to bring a lot more programs to that Annabelle Lake area, and staff has done a great job at developing those programs. So that's exciting. Again, another place where connection and conservation with nature, conservation and connection and nature, really had a lot to do with that Trails Master Plan. So we're excited to get that rolling. Because we'll be looking at and include the finalization of the open space classifications and determine terminology to assist with defining the use of the open space, help finalize the open space acreage targets, which is important, do a comparison of similar cities and make recommendations on mileage targets and future trail system enhancements, recommend future access points to the trail system, partner with local groups to create and maintain the trails, and then, of course, make recommendations on the industry standards. So we're looking forward to that Trails Master Plan really helping us accomplish all of those goals. And then, of course, Public Services has done a great job of completing their zero emissions fleet study. That is complete and will be presented to the City Council in the spring of 2025.
Great.
That third initiative is inclusion, and this is one that I think if you'd seen in the report, we've done an amazing job checking a lot of the boxes. Continue to collaborate with both local high schools and local colleges to recruit a diverse part-time workforce that reflects the community. Maintain the program levels for youth, special needs, and teens, while also offering new programs in these areas. And just to highlight a couple of those, we had a fashion camp as well as a drone camp, which is exciting over the summer. So that was great. We continue to partner with the San Ramon Valley Unified School District and offering enrollment to the teen centers, to the ELP qualified students, to those students that qualify for that program. The Contra Costa Transportation Authority worked with the Wheels to reinstate a portion of Route 4 that restored the bus stops along El Costa between Stagecoach and Village Park Way. This service provides easy access to central Dublin and both BART stations, which is exciting because I think the community really lost on that connectivity when we lost those services. So it's exciting to bring that back. And then, of course, implement our new family pickleball league at Central Park, which is continuing to grow. We completed the installation of the full-size cricket pitch, which I mentioned at Quail Run School. We offer quarterly multi-language sing-along at the senior center, which had participants of all cultures participating in it. We continue to partner with the San Ramon Valley PTA, the Diversity Coalition, as well as PFLAG on the Culture and the Community event, which this year we had 36 cultural performances and 12 cultural booths, and it was I think a great transition to its new location there at the Doherty Station Community Arts Center. It was well received. And then offered 15 community workshops and art programs that were multi-generational and focused on the variety of cultures. Continuing on with inclusivity, continue to leverage the Teen Center Instagram account and share the relevant content to that population. We hosted quarterly staff trainings on DEI topics within the Parks and Community Services Department. We hosted the San Ramon Valley Senior Resource Fair, which provided individuals information regarding those 55 plus services, not only that we offer internally, but are with that throughout our community, which if you've never been to that event, you really should come. It's amazing to see how many people come out to that and the resources that they gather and are interested in. It's really a neat event. As well as collaborated with the San Ramon Diversity Coalition for the Martin Luther King event that we had this past month, and continue to partner with Discovery San Ramon on cross-promoting our events between the two entities. We continue to partner with the San Ramon Valley Ed Foundation to mutually promote the Run for Education as well as our 2 city runs. It's great to be able to combine our resources to help promote those and try to bring more people out. We continue to have the unfunded CIP for the outdoor fitness equipment at El Costa Senior and Community Center. It is something we're working on. We're hopeful we might have that in the near future. I can't go into much more detail, but stay tuned.
okay.
We're excited to hopefully be able to pull that off.
Good to hear that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Completed the park amenities research to identify new locations for additional group picnic reservations. As well, as you all know, we've completed the Sunrise Ridge Park, which has additional picnic rental places in there, and we're hoping Critter Crossings is going to come online here in summer of 2025, but still more information to come on that. Of course, we evaluated our arts classes and camps and added 12 new programs reflective of the community's needs, which was very exciting. And last but not least, we offered 2 cultural events at the senior center, including Lunar New Year celebration, as well as a Diwali celebration. We offered a variety of health and wellness programs, including Shine Dance for Fitness, Shine Saturday dance parties, Saturday line dancing parties, the 55 tap dance, as well as the weekday yoga wind down. We've leveraged existing amenities at the San Ramon Olympic Pool and hosted, I believe, for the 3rd year, our teen middle school pool party in the summer, which brought out 232 local teens, which was exciting. As well as we just reinstated and developed a 55+ drop-in table tennis program and brought that back to the senior center on Thursdays and Fridays. So excited for that. And last but not least, our 4th and final theme was the balance quality and quantity. And with this, we collaborated with the San Ramon Valley Unified School District to install the full-size cricket pitch that I mentioned at Quail Run, which is quite exciting to have that on board. We continue to partner with the San Ramon Valley Unified School District on the high schools and the community use of the San Ramon Olympic Pool, Doherty Valley Aquatic Center, as well as the Doherty Valley Performing Arts Center. We all saw the benefits of sharing the gyms, and that continues to go on in that partnership with our pools and our theater locations. And it really gives the community optimal use of those facilities. We completed a multi-year MOU with the San Ramon Valley Ed Foundation to continue to support the Run for Education. In collaboration with the Finance Department, Parks and Community Services confirmed the current capital asset to update each of the asset values and rate their depreciation. Developed and updated the public art program to include maintenance for the public arts, which is good. Continuing on with the balance and quality and quantity, completed the installation of the new playground at Ramona Park, which I think we're all familiar with, which is very exciting. Most of you were there when we installed Inspire, our latest public art piece at the San Ramon Library. We reinstated the TK sensor tours at the Crow Canyon Gardens, which is exciting, and created a nature story time program that will take place at Crow Canyon Gardens, Forest Home Farms, as well as at Annabelle Lake, which we're excited to see how the turnout is for that, which is going to be good. As well as we all know, we've continued to work on with a consultant to finalize the phasing and the cost assessment of the Crow Canyon Gardens. Phasing 1 was approved for the 24 CIP, which included the demolition of the Muds building. And as we all know, the commission has recommended phase 2 be moved forward with the 25-26 CIP project list for consideration and approval, which is excited to get that one up and running. Just a couple more here for the couple more slides for the quality and quantity. In conjunction with the San Ramon Senior Foundation, we were able to purchase new computers for the senior lab, as well as fitness mirrors for their fitness classes down there at the El Costa Senior Community Center, which is exciting. The terrace patio at San Ramon Community Center, we hope to have completed the shade structure project before Art and Wind Festival, which is exciting. That should come online, as well as we purchased high top cocktail tables, which we think was going to be a real enhancement to our rental program down there, which is nice. We updated the community arts center program plan based on those performance measures during the first year And we presented that information to the Arts Advisory Committee as well as that came to this commission for feedback. We completed the San Ramon pool renovations, which included the locker rooms, updated the flooring in the lobby, lifeguard office, and the classroom. That was done in May. And the replastering of the San Ramon Olympic pool is, I believe, a week away, which is actually that's done now because high school swimming started up and we were going to be done before high school swimming, which is great for those programs that use those facilities. We implemented a monthly auditing process for the sports fields rentals to analyze those allocations between the co-sponsored groups and private users to make sure that we're getting a lot of equity there, as well as we partnered with Chevron for a title sponsor for the Art and Wind Festival, the summer concerts, the runs, and received a legacy donation, and collaborated with Yelp to host the Arts Foundation fundraising event that was at the Community Arts Center, which was exciting. We continue to work with Discover San Ramon on sponsorship, which included the Art and Wind Festival. We completed the staff report, including a SWOT analysis and comparing the natural versus synthetic turf surfaces in terms of advantages, disadvantages, costs, location options, and expected revenues. Updated facility rental, post-rental survey to collect pertinent information to be used to enhance future rentals. These services included options for customers to post their reviews directly on Yelp. So we're hoping to get some positive feedback and some positive flow from that. And then, of course, as we all know, we conducted the dog park user survey seeking feedback from them on what amenities they would like to see at the dog park. And that came back with trees and shade that we're working with public services on to bring those enhancements to our dog parks. And I believe my last slide for the quality and quantity is, as we all know, Sunrise Ridge Park opened in December, which was exciting, which included some more tennis courts and basketball courts was identified in the master plan for some use. Enhanced working relationships with Camp Parks by hosting an in-water training for the military personnel. You saw that in one of the rec reports, which was neat to have them on the pool deck, and then collaborate with the Historic Foundation to install the bee enclosure in order to bring the bees back to the Forest Home Farms, which has been a nice addition to the farm. So I might be a little bit biased, but I feel like we've had a pretty productive year with everything that we've accomplished. Next steps, just to kind of remind the commission of those next steps. Staff will utilize the feedback from the commission during the annual review process to develop an annual work plan for goals and special initiative teams moving forward. Future updates will be provided to the commission for feedback for the next 5 years. That's the plan. One of the exciting things about this plan that I really like that we put into it is at the 5-year mark, we'll be doing a more comprehensive update, which will include opportunities for the community to provide input, expand on some of our goals that we are looking at, maybe rearrange some of those, because it's important to reflect on we're different than we were 5 years ago, and how do we want to change with those trends and reorder those priorities and adjust those timelines. So that'll be next year's task. So staff will be looking at doing all of that and then bringing it back to the commission to really analyze that feedback for the community and see what changes we want to make moving forward for the next 5 years. So we're excited to do that. Once the 5-year has been completed and approved by the Parks and Community Services Commission and the City Council, the revised goals and objectives will be used to guide the department for those next 5 years to come. So that's kind of the next step. So we are looking to gather that feedback from the community and kind of reassess where we are. Are we still meeting the community's needs? What should we be doing differently? How should we pivot? What are those levels of importance? Especially now we know the downtown core is growing. How do we meet those needs as well as the existing needs, not only from a facilities perspective, but from a programming perspective and all of it. So it'll be exciting. So I'm happy to receive any questions or comments or concerns you might have in regards to the report, and we'll do our best to take diligent notes so we can reflect those moving forward as a department.
Thank you, Brad. Really great presentation. All right, we'll start with commission clarifying questions. I don't see any name.
No.
Anybody has any question? No?
I nailed it.
You did. You did.
Stand up.
City staff did too. All right. Any public comments? Yes. Yes, we got it. Thank you. Anybody has any commission comments? Yes, please.
Go ahead,
Vice Chair.
Kyle.
Oh, sure. Thank you. No, I just want to say, I really appreciate that staff put together the capsule presentation to kind of do the highlights from the update, because rather than just give us that big spreadsheet and kind of have us pick out the stuff. It's definitely nice to see it all summarized very neatly. It's pretty impressive, the breadth of work that's been done on the plan. And I also want to just say, I appreciate that staff is very clearly aggressively committed to achieving the plan that's been set. That's not always the case with organizations, but it's definitely always been the case in San Ramon. So anyway, that's just my comment. I just wanted to express some appreciation to staff for all their hard work on making that happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vice Chair Bird?
Yeah, it's gonna, first of all, Brad, nice report. And actually, it helped that you highlight the stuff for us to read it because it made it much, I'm with Kyle, made it much more.
You
I'm
can
sorry.
thank Kathy for that. She had that brilliant
Okay, I
idea.
thought-
She had that brilliant idea years ago. I just piggybacked off of it.
Yeah, it
So,
was super easy for us versus
thank
going
you.
through the spreadsheet.
Thank
So
you.
thanks so much for highlighting it. And I'm with Commissioner Levy in sense of the amount of work that this takes. I'm really a big fan of the master plan because it's kind of our guiding principle
Mm-hmm.
where we're heading and what's important to community and the work that staff and has done to make sure that we achieve and stay on track is really important. And the cool thing is we've been seeing it in the commission reports that people
Mhm.
have gone out master plans. So now we got it incorporated through the whole park system. We're really focused on driving that forward. And I love that we're going to pause and next year and really kind of reevaluate. That's super great feedback. The only thing that also congratulations on the grant. I got educated on how hard it is to get grants here in the city of San Ramon. For us to get a grant on a dishwasher, it's like, God, that's awesome. So I didn't realize that it was that hard.
We
to get
can
a
thank
grant.
Becky Adams. That was her,
Yeah,
that was
way to
her
go, Becky.
baby. So it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Steve
No,
Cox.
I just got
Steve
learned how hard
Cox.
it is to get
Oh,
grants.
Steve
So,
Cox.
yeah.
All right.
Steve Cox, I just help with paperwork.
Well, whoever did it, congratulations. Hey, the only question I have is, are we gonna be able to see the capital asset, or not question, comment, sorry, no more questions, it'd be great to see the capital asset value rate on depreciation. So like, I guess it looked at every asset we have and depreciation, what it's gonna cost, when we're gonna have to replace it. That would be a really cool report for us to eventually
Okay.
see, especially as work in CPI. So,
Yeah.
and so we can kind of plan in the future, when stuff's gonna need to be replaced. So but I think that's a really cool report, but I'd love to see it some way before we do a CPI and all that stuff. So anyways, really good work. Thank you so much. And loved all the details in it. So appreciate it.
We can work on putting something together for you.
Yeah. And maybe I'm reading it wrong and I didn't understand.
No, I
it,
mean,
but-
that's the
but-
goal. We're currently as staff trying to, we just started that process. So we want to make sure we have it fully understood and be able to present it. But yeah, it's a lot. So we'll probably have to, it'll kind of be like this report where we'll highlight some of the key things, but I don't think you want to see the whole laundry
No, I
list
know.
of
I
like
just-
5 tables at X facility that are in type 3 shape that need to so on and so forth. But it's to that level, which is exciting. So it will really help us with the budgeting process moving forward because we can really try to zero down on that. We do it at the theaters, we do it at the parks. The public services team is great at doing it, and the outdoor facilities in the parks and in their buildings. And for us to be able to do that with our equipment, we'll get a good idea of where we're at.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there might be hard decisions in the future. So the more we can
Correct.
be planned for that, it would be really helpful to understand it. And not that we need to see the whole report, but by
Correct.
year, what we're thinking from a budget standpoint, and then we're able to make choices. So,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I was just gonna comment, I mean, different equipment has different depreciation schedules.
Correct.
So, yeah, it'd be more of a highlight. Just from the asset itself.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
All right. Anybody,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
I thought it was great. I mean, you think of this and you think, oh my gosh, this Parks and Rec, we're busy because, I mean, we have to give Kathy credit for keeping us moving along, and she's always thinking of things. So I think you should press along to her that how we appreciate her work and that she keeps us moving and up to date. So it's a lot when you read this. You sit there and you think, oh my gosh, I'm tired. You're busy every day. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but this was very good. And thank heavens that we didn't have to go through that that little sheet that you can hardly read. So thank you for the updates. It's really good. And thank you for your work, all of you.
Thank you very much.
Just
Yeah,
one,
go ahead,
yeah,
please.
just to wrap it up, and Brad, thank you. As someone who is kind of on the outside looking in, I've always kind of been aware of the master plan, but never really dug deep. So when I started going through the actual spreadsheet, I think like Carol, I think maybe I got through half of the high priority ones and my head started spinning. So I said, I'll wait till I hear the presentation. So, but it was good for me because it just kind of summarized and encapsulated, I think, everything. So it really sort of brought me up to speed. So I appreciate that. I was just, my one comment is I'm not so sure about the Annabelle Lake thing because I think it's one of our best kept secrets and I kind of like to keep it that way, but no, I'm kidding. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful amenity. And I think the more people we can draw to it, the better. So kudos for the partnership with Sunset, because I think that's terrific. So,
Thank you
yeah,
very much.
thank you.
And that could be a prototype for the Chevron Lake development.
There you
as
go.
Well. Yeah.
All right, if there is no other comment, thank you, Hubert, for the awesome presentation, and thank you, Kathy, and all the city staff for doing an awesome and keeping all our. I mean, as everybody said, I mean, it was hard to read through it, forget about doing it,
Right.
and you guys are doing it on day in, day out.
Just think
So.
how much more you'd get done if you didn't have to do all these damn reports.
No,
Good
no,
point.
no
Good
comment.
point. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the feedback.
All right, okay, let's go to the staff report, recreation maintenance and operation report.
Wonderful. Well, as you noticed I felt with the rec report as well as the maintenance and operation report, I kind of felt the same way as I was going through that master plan project, which is just amazing to see. And we traditionally joke around that there's not a whole lot going on in January, right? Everybody feels like January's slow, coming out of the holidays. Well, it was neat to see all the activities that took place in here. A couple of them that I wanted to just draw your attention to in case you didn't catch them was, like we mentioned, the Lunar New Year celebration is always a huge hit at the senior center. We get 100 participants out there with wonderful different type of cultural entertainment events. So really kudos to that staff. And the other thing that I wanted to point out, and it was part of the master plan presentation, but the nature programs and the nature updates. If you haven't seen that section, check that out because it's really cool what staff has been doing and coming up with to find different ways to engage the community and the residents to get involved with staff, to get involved with the programming, not only at the farm, but at the lake and especially at the gardens. From the Wassail event, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think I got the Wassail event, which I'm so bummed I missed out on, which sounded super cool. The nature story time, the mushroom walk with Planifly, and I think there's a couple others. So really neat. So check that out if you have time. And not last but not least was the culture and the community that took place. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to take it. We thought it was really well received. We got lots of positive feedbacks on the new location. We still have some details to work out, but we were really happy with the transition from the community center to the Doherty Station Community Arts Center. And then in regards to the maintenance and operation report, the Public Works, Public Services team continue to do an amazing job getting everything ready for our use for the community. Most importantly, were all those projects in regards to aquatics that got those pools ready, not only for the high school swimming, which comes and takes over. We're already packed as it is, and then you add a whole high school swim team in both pools, as well as the washer and dryer and some of the deck work that needed to be done. So thanks to them. So yeah, those were just a couple highlights. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have in regards to the report.
Anybody? Nope.
I had a
can-
com-
oh,
I
go
did
ahead.
have a comment. It was good on your on the community gardens because the North Community Garden from going way back has always been full, but it's so neat that now we see that the southern part is full also, because at one time we were thinking of what should we do with that? Because there wasn't much activity. So it's really come along.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thank you.
Hey, Brad, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
One comment. First, I love that you guys celebrated the veteran. For, 100
Yeah, yeah,
That gentleman is.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really neat.
Thank you.
I do have a question, and I'll email it to you, or you don't have to answer it, because I'm not sure you might not. On page 97, we're talking about how much we brought in for the 90 allotments for the gardens.
Yes.
It's like, with 90 allotments, that's $5,681, and then on page 96, we have 52 lots, we're bringing 14,800. Just seems to me that, I thought we're running about, I forgot what we approved on the fees, but it seems like the math is, I don't know, it seems like the math is off me on that, but for what the revenue should be.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it real quick in
Yeah, it's
regards to
on
that.
97 and
And it just went back to the beginning.
96.
We can follow up
Yeah.
on with you on that math. I know it looks a little bit different because the south gardens have different sizes, and so there's different costs with those sizes.
Yeah,
And then the north garden is set up differently on that. I don't know if that's the big difference in regards to that pricing, but I'd be more than happy to follow up just to
Oh,
confirm
yeah.
that that's all good. Yeah, we'll be more than happy to get back to you on that. Yeah, you bet.
That's only on the southern. that's
Thank
only
you.
on the
We
north,
were excited about that.
Not the south.
They're very hard to come by.
All right, let's move on to item number 9, committee liaison report and announcements. So I'll start with, right side.
Okay, so for our student council meeting, January 21st, it was like a relatively short meeting. We just had discussion about the teen job fair. So we just discussed our participation, helping with setting up, volunteering, and then also just advertising it to the teen population, which we approved. And then we also talked about our engagement in the Youth Advisory Committee annual retreat, which is something we do every year. It's not hosted by us this year. I think it's Pleasanton, sure. But every year, one of the commissions will host a retreat for all of the youth commissions to meet, or youth councils to meet. So we just approved our participation for that. And then our teen council senior tech day ad hoc committee gave us an update on what future dates they're thinking of, and then also how the past few senior tech days have been. Fortunately, we haven't been getting a lot of volunteers, so there's something that they've been trying to work on, and they're also implementing a workshop series. So like, for example, it would be like safety, or like just like kind of like things that they usually see at the senior tech days. They're making them into workshops to make it more efficient. And then our teen wellness ad hoc committee just we appointed them the meeting before, so they just kind of were able to talk about what they've been doing, and also talking about how we're going to engage with our schools more. We have a lot of wellness fairs that are coming up, especially at Doherty and Cal. So we talked about collaborating with our schools, because usually teen council is able to have booths at our schools during these events. So we talked about planning for that and how we plan to do that this year.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Student Commissioner Chawla. Okay, all right, let's go on to Commissioner Levy.
Sure. Well, you just heard the teen council report, so I don't have anything there. I do have a plug to do real quick. On Saturday, April 26th, so it's a little ways out, about 10 weeks, the San Ramon Library Foundation will be hosting a Night in the Stacks benefit concert featuring the Nicholas Beard Trio. Tickets are available right now on the city's website, $55 inclusive of fees. It's at the San Ramon Library, and that's for charcuterie, and it's to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Doherty Station Library and the 40th anniversary of the San Ramon Library itself, the San Ramon Library Foundation itself, excuse me. And it's to help raise money for the foundation. You saw earlier tonight some of the things that the foundation supports, so it's for a good cause, just putting it out there. Thank you. April 26th. It is Saturday.
Adult beverages and food?
There will be adult beverages and food, yes.
Oh, awesome. Cool concept. All right, Commissioner Lopez Luz.
I do not have a report because the February meeting was canceled.
Cancelled. I saw a bunch of them were canceled. Okay. All right, Commissioner Dolich.
So we didn't have any arts advisory presentations this evening, so I get to actually tell you what happened at the meeting. We met at Rancho because wanted to take a look at some of the other facilities, especially the music room that had a variety of equipment, timpanis, drop sets, pianos, etc., things like that. So that was pretty interesting because we also had a presentation by James Daly, who is the president and owner of the San Ramon Academy of Music, and talked about the program. You know, we used to have the youth symphony, and that went away. The youth orchestra went away for a couple of years, but it's been brought back by the San Ramon Music Academy, and just a very vibrant presentation by Mr. Daly. Definitely is, you know, a great asset to the community, and has a great love for what he's doing, especially with youth and teaching music and encouraging it, not just in the musical sense, but you know, in the collaboration and really, you know, working together and getting that going. So that was just very exciting to see that. And then we went and did a tour of the Harlan Room. And then we had a discussion on America Speaks Out about the arts. And it was just, you know, talking about how the arts benefits communities, both from a cultural as well as a fiscal perspective, and, you know, provides a point of connection for people. So that was very interesting. And I'll bring to your attention something a little bit sooner, so you can remember that. Again, on Saturday, the 15th, it's at 2 p.m. at the Front Row Theater. It's the San Ramon Day. It's the second presentation by the Livermore Shakespeare Festival, Spark, and it's a Romance and Juliet. So actually be a scripted reading, kind of an abbreviated reading of the play Romeo and Juliet, with some audience participation. And your ticket will also potentially get you an adult beverage. It's kind of early in the day, but what the heck, you know, it's the weekend. Not that weekend, but the weekend. And that would conclude my report.
Thank you, Doug. Next, we're going to Vice Chair Bree.
Probably following well. I'm just kidding. Hey, first of all,
I don't like you following me.
I know.
Kind of creepy.
Okay, all right. Let me move out.
He's so entertaining. Yeah, I went to the before I get my city council report, went to culture in the community, and I thought that worked out perfect. The facility was perfect. Actually, Adam gave me a tour of the whole facility, which I thought was I really appreciated they did that. But it was interesting because we're having in the the big room, the dancing of the different cultures, and the next room we got tango lessons going on. Upstairs you have people doing art projects. I thought it flowed really well. So and the place was popping. I mean, I think Adam told me we must have like 1,500 people go through there during a full day. So talk about the reach of the community. So I thought really well done by everybody on culture and community, and I certainly learned a lot. I mean, all the tables set up for different countries and the engagement you can do to learn about the different cultures was awesome. So I thought, you know, I was here what we did here. I'm sorry, over Bombay, et cetera. I thought that was, I don't know, it just flowed much better. So anyways, nice job. So really good job. That was great. As far as city council meeting, they did, first of all, we have a new vice mayor. Council member, I'm now Vice Mayor Veros, so as our vice mayor for the city, and got elected vice mayor, which is awesome. And then they talked about how they're going to fill the vacancy for the planning commission. And then they also did all the appointments for all their liaison for the you know, same thing, we have arts commission, so did all their appointments. And then also, which was kind of interesting, I didn't know we did this, but just in case there's a major disaster and something happens, that one of our council members in there's a list of who's their next person to fit in. So they provide the list of it on that. I thought that was really great. So
Hierarchy of succession.
what's that?
There's a hierarchy of succession.
Yeah, I mean, who they fill in. So I thought that was, I did not know they did that. And then the other thing is, just kind of factoid, which, maybe because I'm weird on this stuff, but every month that they got to go through and review every expense that the city does, it's massive pages of, the city council has to go through, and God bless them for doing it. I mean, it's mad. I was just going through looking at it, it's just amazing. So anyways, those are kind of the highlights. Those are the highlights from the city council meeting. Wanted to make sure I captured everything, but those were for my session. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Coney.
Wanted to kudos to Dinesh and to Steve Cox for the report on the library committee. I thought it was terrific. I know Dinesh has been putting in a lot of time trying to pull it together. Steve's done a great job as the staff liaison there, so just wanted to those kudos. And then another quick announcement. March 5th is the State of the City, which the Chamber of Commerce sponsors, and this year it's going to be actually at the community center. So I think it's going to be sold out. It's a luncheon, 11:30 to 1:30. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you can go on the Chamber website and purchase those. But it's always a nice event.
March 5th?
March 5th.
Oh, okay. Cool, thank you.
If we don't, if it's sold out for the most, but
All right,
We should get a table.
get a table. Sure.
Yeah.
1/7, which day is this?
March 5th is
March
a
5th?
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
because the 3rd and the 4th with the interviews was a Monday and a Tuesday.
Right. Okay, all right. Planning Commission meeting on 4th of February. There was one study session. That was Camino Ramon Apartment Residential Development Study Session. This is 2453 Camino Ramon. Okay. I hope you guys know where it is. Applicants are in a very early stage right now in the conceptual design. They're in a 30-day review period. Staff is processing and reviewing the applications. It's primarily an affordable housing, 100% affordable. That's what they said. There will be 2 buildings. Developer presented. This is a very, very early feedback gathering session, and they presented to the Planning Commission to gather feedback. The developer, who is Eden Housing, they say that they have built or they are building affordable housing for extremely low income and modestly low income families for a while. This particular project will have 2 buildings.
I can't understand you with your hands.
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay. All right. All right. Sure.
Yeah, the way you read it.
Do you want me to repeat that or? Okay.
Eden Housing.
Eden Housing. Eden Housing, they have been doing the low income or extremely low income housing for a while. They're in this project, they have 2 buildings, totally 200 homes, and 1 building will be large for the large family, 120 homes, and the second building will consist of 80 homes, and that will be primary for seniors, 55 plus. The complex will have fitness center, community garden, community gathering center, all those facilities. So they did present that, and they called it out as a very early stage presentation, and they just wanted to gather some information. So, yeah. And this is on the Camino Ramon. Camino Ramon. So you know that what is that? Sunset Development, the new building coming up. It's just the opposite to that. I don't know, what is that?
Is that the building? with the
Executive
seniors
Parkway.
that on the-
Executive Parkway, yeah. Sorry?
on the executive-
On the Executive Parkway. You know the new construction zone coming up? What is the name of that? Forgot that name.
I can't remember.
So-
It's across from,
Summer Hill.
Summer Hill, yeah.
it's across from
Just-
Summer Hill.
Summer Hill.
Just opposite, other side of the Camino Ramon. Yes.
Isn't that like Bishop Brent 7 that the Sharon down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are going all the way to, I think, Iron Horse Trail. So
Yeah, Eden Housing's been around for
For
a
a
very,
long
very
very
long
long
time.
time. Yep.
They also do a lot of tenant counseling,
Do a lot of what? Well,
tenant counseling.
Tenant counseling.
okay.
Yeah.
Super.
All right.
Good
So
report.
that is my report. Okay. Any Okay, so before we adjourn, anybody has anything to add, comment, questions, clarifications?
Just happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
The teen job fair will be on March 1, which is a Saturday. And then the Devlin Center Women's Club is part of that. And we need interviewers, and bless your heart, Kevin, has said that he would be helping, but if any of you can come on that Saturday, it's from 12 to 3. And we need interviewers for the mock interviews. for the
Which day, sorry,
students.
which day is this?
Saturday.
No.
March 1.
March 1st, okay.
So we need people that will interview the students.
And usually there's pizza.
We have pizza,
Yeah.
cookies, and
And where is it?
it will be at the Dublin Senior Center.
Dublin City.
But I need to know, because I need to give your emails to our person who's doing this so she can get enough volunteers.
Okay, and the timing?
12 to 3.
Do they provide you the questions and all that stuff?
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a script.
Get a
Okay.
script and then they'll give you give the student a
Okay.
feedback and the student gives you a feedback as to how you did.
I
But
will,
it's very successful because usually we have
Lot of
300 to
fun.
400
Yeah.
students.
I'll get back.
Yeah.
All right. With
Oh,
that, what's that? So what if for him? For him. All right. With that, I would like to adjourn the City of San Ramon Parks and Community Service Commission regular meeting on February 12, 2025, and the timing is 9:21 PM. Thank you. Abdul.
21.
Yep.
Fantastic.